Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Again, these things that we have right here in front of us, these things are instructions. These things are guidelines. These things are cheat codes, cliff notes, whatever analogy you want to come up with. These are for us to better our lives mentally, physically, and spiritually.
That's right.
Read.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, that we might have hope.
Bring it out.
In those times of distress, in those times of weariness, in those times of confusion, in those times of sadness, in those times of depression, in those times of disheartening. This is what's supposed to help. When that temptation feels like it's creeping in, and that old man or that old woman feel like she's resurfacing, this right here is what's going to give you hope.
Bring it out.
The Lord still got you.
That's right.
That you have not been forsaken. This is your protection. 1 Corinthians 10. And start at verse 1. Let me get there with you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Read that out.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant.
That you should be ignorant, read.
How that all our fathers were under the cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and all passed through the sea.
See, again, this is the dispensation of time with Moses, where our forefathers made that vow that all things written from the Lord we will do.
That's right.
So that means the other side of that. If we don't do them, the things that happen, right? Mm-hmm. Read.
And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud.
Read.
And in the sea. And did all eat the same spiritual meat.
Read.
And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
So we indulged in these things, right? We took the time to quote unquote follow the Lord, right? Read.
For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ.
And that rock was Christ, meaning that we were going to follow the instructions. But as we can see, a good portion of our foremothers and forefathers did not make it out of their wilderness. Fell privy to the temptation, fell privy to the idolatry, were compassed by the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the carnal, became carnivorous. It ate them up. Read.
But with many of them, God was not well pleased.
There it is. It say, but with many of our forefathers and foremothers, God was not well pleased. Read.
For they were overthrown in the wilderness.
For they were what, bro?
Overthrown in the wilderness.
For they were taken by the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the temptation, and that idolatry. Read.
Now these things were our examples.
These things were examples for us to be able to strengthen our minds, strengthen our spirits, strengthen our bodies in the defense against these same things. Read.
To the intent we should not lust after evil things.
To the intent that we should be protected. To the intent that we should be vigilant. To the intent that we should be knowledgeable as to the things that seeking to destroy us.
That's right.
Read.
As they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written.
It's telling us, man, not to fall into the same traps that our forefathers and our foremothers fell into. That idolatry then, it's just the same idolatry now. The only difference is you have more technology.
Bring it out.
You have more things to occupy your time and take you away from the Lord. You have more things to cause confusion in a household. You have more things that seeking to destroy you. It's there.
That's right.
It's in your hand. It's in your pocket 24/7. You go to sleep to it plugged up next to you.
Teach.
Yeah, you come home. You cut it on, you sit in front of it all day. I mean, for anything that takes more time from the Lord have become your idols, have become your gods. we are going through the same thing that we did with Moses still to this day.
Bring it out.
Read.
The people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
They sat down and they put all their time into things that were deadly, into things that were detrimental to their evolution in the spirit, evolution of the mind, and evolution of the body.
Bring it out.
Read.
Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed.
It said, neither let us fall into those same traps. Let's not commit that physical and spiritual fornication. Read.
And fell in one day 23,000.
See, it's telling us, man, this is what's deadly. This is how deadly this is. It doesn't have to be physically. Again, it can be mentally and spiritually.
Bring it out.
Once this goes, everything else follows.
Bring it out.
The body and the spirit start to decompose. Without that covering of the Lord, man, without that proper protection, without that constant seeking of the light, the constant seeking of righteousness, man, you start to fall away.
That's right.
That temptation gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And it seems like a battle you can't win. The lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, that idolatry seem to take over. And we fall like our forefathers and our foremothers. Ephesians 5:1. Let me get that with you. Too far. Read that.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Read.
Be ye therefore followers of God.
It's telling us, instead of being like our forefathers and foremothers that fell in the wilderness, that were compassed by the temptations and idolatry, it's telling us to be therefore followers of God. Read.
As dear children.
As what?
As dear children.
As proper children. Taking the instruction and the corrective criticism of your parents. The ones teaching you about that morality. The ones teaching you about responsibility. The ones teaching you about respect. The ones teaching you about knowledge. The ones giving you the game. Read.
And walk in love.
And do what?
Walk in love.
Read.
As Christ also hath loved us.
Read.
And hath given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling savor.
Christ was that lamb without blemish.
Bring it out.
Gave it up so you can have an opportunity to fix yourself.
That's right.
So you can have an opportunity to evolve and get it right. So you don't have to fall into the same trap that our forefathers and our foremothers fell into.
Bring it out.
Being compassed by the temptation, being compassed by that idolatry, being compassed by the evil works of the world that's seeking whom it may devour.
Bring it out.
This is what a parent does. A parent gives you all of the tools you need to succeed when you're not around them. When you are by yourself, you don't feel left out. You don't feel without. You don't feel empty because they've given you all the tools you need to succeed. This is what Christ is doing. This is how the Lord set it up. But for those of us that feel like we're falling short, the covering of Christ is there. You just got to seek it.
That's right.
Read.
But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named amongst you.
It's telling you, bro, let not these things come into your spirit. Let not these things come into your mind. Let not that temptation win that battle. Read.
As becometh saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
It's telling you, man, not to fall into these traps again and again, time and time again. Our mouth write that check that our butt can't cash, man.
Bring it out.
Because instead of thinking, we become reactive. Instead of listening, we're just hearing.
Bring it out.
We're not actually digesting what's being said or digesting what we're seeing. We're being reactive. We're being emotional. And these emotions, man, is what gets you trapped because you're not fully navigating. You're letting that temptation and that idolatry take over. Read.
For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater.
Who is what?
Idolatry.
Read.
Hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
It's telling you, man, if you're falling in to any one of these categories, or if you're displaying any one of these characteristics, that you are making yourself unclean in the eyes of the Lord, man. That you are leaving yourself open for destruction, that you're leaving yourself open to be compassed by that old man and that old woman to take root again and lead you down that path of temptation that leads you straight into death. Some of our brothers and sisters, when they fall, they don't get back up.
Bring it out.
Some of our brothers and sisters, when them walls start closing in, they just lay down, they grab a pillow and a blanket and they take it. They fall into that deep sleep, never to arise again. This was written for our instruction, man.
That's
that
right.
We might have hope that we don't fall back into that old.
That's right.
If you look back at your life, before you decided to take this journey and wholeheartedly follow Christ, if you look back at the things that you went through, do you want to go through those same things all over again?
Bring it out.
Do you want to go through the same heartache all over again? Do you want to go through the same confusion all over again?
Wake them up.
Does it seem beneficial to go and run the same exact race that you've already run and fall into the same traps? If you've already ran that race, you should know where to move around. You should know what's lying ahead to seek to destroy you.
That's right.
Bro, the Lord is there, bro. That covering is there, but you gotta want it. You gotta seek it. Go to Proverbs 14 and 11. Book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 11. Read that, bro.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
The house of the wicked shall be overthrown.
You say what, bro?
The house of the wicked shall be overthrown.
Read.
But the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish.
Read.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
When that temptation come rolling in, bro, it seemed right, man. It just, man, give me the sweat, man, bro.
Bring it out.
Give me the sweat, man, bro. Read that again, verse 12.
Verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
See, man, you looking at it right now, them ways, man, them old ways, bro. It's just, you're gnawing at your fingertips, man. You're eating away at your fingernails, man. It seems so right.
Bring it out.
At the end of that whole little ordeal, bro, it's death.
Bring it out.
It's that pitfall, bro. It get deeper and deeper. Go back. Now, in fact, keep reading. Verse 13.
Verse 13. Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful.
You can't mask that pain with that happiness, man, that forced happiness that everybody else see, because they can see in your eyes, man, that it's hurt.
Bring it up.
They can see in your eyes, man, that you're down. They can tell in your spirit, just because you're laughing, man, your spirit is telling you, bro, you got that dark cloud over you.
Bring it out.
The Lord, bro, is giving us all the tools we need to succeed, but we still fight against the power.
That's right.
We still fight against the power. Read.
And the end of that mirth is heaviness.
And the end of that mirth is heaviness, man. And the end of that mirth is sadness, man. At the end of that mirth is depression. At the end of that mirth is tears, man. Read.
The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways.
See, man, that's our brothers and sisters, man, that's falling into the same trap as our forefathers and our foremothers that were laid waste in that wilderness following Moses. Because instead of listening to the Lord, man, they wanted to jump into their own vain opinions. They wanted to jump and do their own thing. They wanted to follow their own gods. They wanted to do what they wanted to do instead of adhering to what the Lord said. That backsliding, man. And for some of our brothers and sisters at that time, they ain't shake back. That backsliding was a never-ending stop, a never-ending slide into deep darkness. Finish it out.
And a good man shall be satisfied from himself.
And so that good man is going to be satisfied with the ways of the Spirit. That good man is going to be satisfied with that righteous man. That good man is going to be satisfied with the things that he needs versus the wants that's going to put him in a bind.
That's right.
See, a lot of us, we want a lot of things, bro, that's detrimental to us. Or we want to do a lot of things that we are not ready for. We ain't counseled with nobody. We ain't did no research. We ain't did nothing. We just jump off the porch and expect things to be raining. To be sunshine and rainbows.
Bring it out,
bro. The Lord is giving us all of the tools we need, bro, to navigate this world that is set up to cause sadness, confusion, and darkness. Go back, Corinthians 10 and verse 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 8. Read it when you get there, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 8. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000.
Let us not be those backsliders, man. Read.
Neither let us tempt Christ.
Neither let us what?
Tempt Christ.
Read.
As some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents.
And were destroyed with that confusion, man.
Bring it out.
Fed the things that they wanted the most that killed them.
Teach.
Mentally, physically, and spiritually.
That's right.
You want it bad enough, it's gonna come.
Bring it out.
Bring it out.
You seek it bad enough, it's gonna come. Whether it be good or whether it be bad.
That's right.
Read.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. Now all these things happen unto them for example.
It did what, bro?
Now all these things happen unto them for example.
All of these things happen unto our forefathers and foremothers as an example.
That's right.
What is the purpose of an example?
Teach.
It is to teach. It is to show. It is to guide. That example is supposed to be there to give you that blueprint. But apparently, when we're reading this, we're not looking at it as ourselves. We're just looking at it as words on a page. Read on, bro.
And they were written for our admonition.
They were written for admonition.
Unto whom the ends of the world are come.
This was a warning for us. That example is just like you're driving down the street and all of a sudden you see the light blinking red. It's telling you caution. Instead of just flying through the light, you might want to ease and check both sides to make sure there ain't no traffic coming before you drive through. This is that warning light. This is that caution light. This is that eyes up. Give me 2 Timothy 3 and 16. Read it when you get there, bro.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine.
And it's what?
Is profitable for doctrine.
Read.
For reproof.
For what?
For reproof.
Read.
For correction.
For what?
For correction.
Read.
For instruction in righteousness.
For what, bro?
Instruction in righteousness.
Read.
That the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly flourish unto all good works.
Bro, it's telling you that this is positivity.
That's right.
Bring it up.
This is guidance.
That's
this
right.
is happiness. This is clarity. This is the evolution of that dead spirit, that dead mind, that dead body being brought back to life. This is that light being shined on the darkness to cast away all of the shadows.
Bring it out.
That's what this is.
That's right.
It's for that correction. It's for that good doctrine. It's for that reproof. It's for that instruction in righteousness, that you may be perfect.
Yes, sir.
That you may live, that you may be happy, that you may pay these things forward to your brothers, to your sisters, to your children, to your family. That they all around you may be able to enjoy Christ, just like you enjoy. Because again, these examples, when someone speaks to you, when someone sees you, when someone deals with you, they should be dealing with Christ.
Bring it out.
When they hear you speak, they should be hearing Christ speak.
That's
when
right.
they see you move, they should be seeing how Christ moved.
That's right.
That's their covering. Go back to Ephesians 5, start at verse 6. Read it when you get there, bro.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 6.
Read.
Let no man deceive you with vain words.
It's like what, bro?
Let no man deceive you with vain words.
It's telling you, let no man deceive you with vain words. Who do you think they're speaking about?
Bring it out.
Who's the biggest person of influence over you? Yourself.
Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Let no man, let no woman deceive you. Do not let yourself write that check that you ultimately can't cash.
Bring it out.
Read.
For because of these things cometh the wrath of God.
Because of these things cometh the wrath of God. Because of these things you fall into that darkness. Because of these things you no longer have that covering of protection. Because of these things you leave yourself open to the destroyer. Read.
Upon the children of disobedience.
Upon what, bro?
The children of disobedience.
Man, for my parents out there, if you give instruction to your children and they don't follow through with the instruction, what do you do? For the children of disobedience, what is the goal, or what is the end goal of them being disobedient? So if you're bringing that correction and that reproof unto them, what you think the Lord gonna do for you?
Bring it out.
Read.
Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
It's telling you, man, don't be partakers in that darkness, man. Don't fall privy to that temptation. Don't lead on and give all of your time into these idolatries that's not going to produce anything positive. Don't be partakers of that darkness. Read.
For ye were sometimes darkness.
For we were already once in that darkness. Read.
But now are ye light.
But
in the
now
Lord.
we are that light. But now Christ has given us that opportunity to so shine. Read.
Walk as children of light.
It's like what, bro?
Walk as children of light.
Walk as children of Christ.
That's
Walk
right.
as children of Christ.
That's
Speak
right.
as children of Christ.
That's right.
Move as children of Christ.
Teach.
Operate as children of Christ. Have that covering, man. Read.
For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth.
It's saying the fruit of the Spirit is going to be in all righteousness. It's going to be in all goodness. And it's going to produce truth. Read.
Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord.
See, by you doing this, you are proving the things that are acceptable unto the Lord. That charity for your brother. Showing that love unto one another. Being honest. Letting your brothers and sisters know what's real. Not to sugarcoat things because of their feelings, but be 100 with them so they can grow.
Bring it out.
All right. Bring it out.
Not being that crutch, not letting that sin be on them and you don't say anything, or let that dark cloud loom over them and you don't be a hand to try to help your brother or be a hand to try to help your sister.
Bring it out.
These are acceptable things unto the Lord, and that's what happens when you have that covering over you. You can be protection for the next brother. You can be protection for the next sister. Because again, brothers and sisters, you honestly don't know who be watching your walk.
That's right. Teach.
Who are looking at how you move and are like, man, I see Christ in him. I see Christ in her. I want to be able to do the same thing.
Bring it out.
I want to be able to move the same way. What type of example are you setting?
Teach.
Romans 12:1. Read it when you get there, bro.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
These things are our reasonable service. Again, this was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, that we might have hope. This is our reasonable service, that we are set ourselves up as examples of Christ.
Teach.
That we move and speak as Christ. That we deal amongst our brothers and sisters as if Christ was dealing amongst with you. Read.
And be not conformed to this world.
And be not conformed to this world. Be not overtaken by the temptations of the darkness. Be not overtaken by the idols and the idolatry that's out there for you to dive into. For out there for you to get lost in the sauce. That's out there to keep you in a state of confusion, in a state of sadness, in a state of darkness. Don't conform. Read.
But be ye transformed.
But be evolved. Read.
By the renewing of your mind.
By the what, bro?
Renewing of your mind.
Read.
That ye may prove what is that good, that acceptable and perfect will of God.
It's saying, bro, that you may prove that Christ is alive through you. That Christ is alive how you speak. That Christ is alive how you move. That Christ is alive in how you deal and carry yourself.
Bring it out.
See, that temptation for that old man and for that old woman, man, it don't do anything but leave open the realm of sadness and death. Let's take this example serious and not fall into the same traps as our forefathers and foremothers did. This was the example to give us the leg up.
Bring it out.
That's right.
For all of my game heads, man, and this gonna show my it's gonna show my age, but for all of my game heads back then, man, it's that Game Shark, bro. You plug it in, man, you go through, find the cheat code you need, boom. Game easy. Invincibility, no dying. You know what I mean?
Bring it out.
That's what this is. It's time for us to plug up to the source, man.
That's right.
1 Corinthians 10 and 11. Let's go back. Read it when you get there, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 11. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, unto whom the ends of the world are come.
Read.
Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
It's telling you, be cautious of how you move and be cautious of how you thinking. Read.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful.
They say, bro, there is no temptation that is taken over you, but such is common unto man. These temptations that are taking our brothers and sisters are brought about by our own selves.
Bring it out.
We're putting ourselves in a very precarious situation.
That's right.
And we're looking for an exit, not realizing that the exit is there, but we have blinded ourselves to the lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh, and we think that we're trapped in a box.
Bring it out.
That's right.
Read.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able.
See, he's telling you, bro, God is faithful, and he's not going to put you in a predicament or in a situation that there's no way to escape from. So if you feel like the walls are closing in, man, if you feel like there's no light switch to see your way out, if you feel like you ain't been able to come across the exit in a long time, it's time to look at yourself.
That's right. Teach.
It's time to see what you have not been doing or what you have been doing that's causing you to feel like you have no way out.
Teach, D.
It's time for you to lean on the Lord. It's time for you to go ahead and have that one-on-one with the power, so that he may apply that eyesight, so that he may bring that light. Let that sun shine through and disperse all of the shadows, man. He said he's not going to put you in a situation that there's no escape from. Read.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
He say, but with that temptation that you're putting in front of yourself, that you're creating this obstacle for yourself, bro, there's a way to escape. And that escape is him. So where do your allegiance lie?
Bring it out.
Does it lie with the darkness? Or does it lie with the light? Are you tempted of that darkness? And you're falling deeper and deeper into it? Or are you that man or that woman that has fallen those times, but you know that the Lord got you and you climbing your way out?
Bring it out.
You see the exit. You climbing. You running. You busting down the walls to get to that exit. He's not going to put you in a situation, bro, that you can't get out of.
Bring it out.
Bring it out. That's right.
Read.
That ye may be able to bear it.
Hebrews 13:5. Let me get there with you. Hebrews 13:5. Read that when you get there, bro.
The book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have.
It's telling you, man, do not put yourself in a situation, man, where you feel like you can't get out of.
That's right.
Be mindful of how you speak. Be mindful of how you carry yourself. Be mindful of how you do things, man. Be cognizant. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what's being said. Don't be moving as if you don't have somebody looking out for you.
Bring it out.
Don't move as if you're alone. Read.
For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee.
What he said, bro?
I will never leave thee.
He said, I will never leave thee. Read.
Nor forsake thee.
Nor forsake you.
Bring it out.
This temptation that you've brought about for yourself, man, that you feel like it's just, I can't do anything, man. The Lord said, I ain't going to put you nowhere you can't get out of.
Teach.
What are your eyes fixated on?
Bring it out.
What is your mind locked in on? What has taken your focus? Let's go back to Ephesians 5 and 11. Let me get that with you, bro. Ephesians 5 and 11. Read that when you get there.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness.
Read.
But rather reprove them.
It's telling you, man, not to fall into that temptation, but rather reprove them. See, this is what it does, man. It builds up that defense. You have that covering, you have that armor to where when you see the BS, when you see that the walls are closing in, guess what? Throwing that spackle up. Guess what? You see somebody trying to come with the BS, hide, you die, you spin move.
Bring it out.
Hurt them. Ain't no way to trap you down because you know you got that cover.
Bring it out.
You know you got that ultimate defense and offense against the things that's seeking to destroy. Read.
For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Read.
But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light.
It say all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. Read.
For whatsoever doth make manifest is light.
Read.
Wherefore he saith, awake, thou that sleepest.
What he's telling us, bro?
Awake, thou that sleepest.
Tell us, man, to awake. Open up your eyes. Apply that eyesight. Get that Visine, man. Throw them drops in. Wake up. The clarity is there. Read.
And arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light.
It say, arise from that dead. Do not fall back into that darkness. Do not let that temptation and that idolatry take hold and continue to keep you the walking dead.
Bring it out.
Awake, thou that sleepest. Arise from your slumber. Let's go back. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Read that, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful.
But what?
But God is faithful.
Read.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
Read.
Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry.
What is telling us to do, bro?
Flee from idolatry.
Flee from idolatry. Read.
I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ? For we being many are one bread and one body. For we are all partakers of that one bread.
It's telling us, man, without Christ, man, everything seems like confusion. Without Christ, everything seems dull. Without Christ, everything seems bad. With that, that's our way out. That's our covering. You can succeed.
Bring it out.
You can see.
Teach.
You can breathe. You can taste.
Bring it out.
Christ rises us from the dead so that we may walk in the light, so that you may be a new creature. Do not fall prey to that temptation and that idolatry that's seeking to pull you back into the darkness, that's seeking to pull you away from your safety, from your covering, to pull you back to where, to be honest, man, some of my brothers and sisters never make it back from. Let's not be that statistic, man. Let us take heed to this example and use these things, man, to better our mind, to better our body, to better our spirit, to evolve into that which is acceptable unto God.
Bring it out.
Ephesians 5 and 14. Read that, bro.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest.
Telling us again, man, to awake thou that sleepeth. Read.
And arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light.
Read.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
It's telling you, man, be mindful of how you move, man. Let the light so shine that it may guide your footsteps. Read.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Read.
Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding that the will of the Lord is.
It's telling you, be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. You can understand what the will of the Lord is when you read, when you do, when you implement.
Bring it out.
You have knowledge and you have wisdom. There's two different things.
Teach.
You can read and gain the knowledge of something, but you don't completely and truly understand it until you implement it, which gives you wisdom. You can now teach and explain and guide the next person who's trying to go through that same experience.
Bring it out.
That's what this is. You can show the next brother, show the next sister what's wise for the Lord, bro. Give them the understanding of what the will of the Lord is.
Bring it out.
And it's through your example.
Teach
how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you move, how you operate day in, day out, when people are around you and when you by yourself. Read, bro.
and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
It's telling us, man, be not drunk with the ways of the world. Be not drunk with the doctrines of death. Be not drunk with all the things that seek to devour and confuse, but be filled with the Spirit.
Bring it out.
Have that protection. Have that covering. Galatians 5:22. Read that, bro.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 22.
Let's see what we're being filled with. Let's see what that Spirit calls for. Read.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love.
Is what, bro?
Is love.
See, that's a lot right there that we're missing out on right now in this walk, bro. A lot of brothers and sisters ain't trying to show no love.
Teach.
Ain't trying to show no sense of caring. Whether how you speak, how you carry yourself, whatever. It's selfishness
Bring it out.
over selflessness. And it should be the other way around. Read.
Joy.
What do you say, bro?
Joy.
Joy is an aspect of the Spirit. These things that we should be walking in. Read.
Peace.
What do you say, bro?
Peace.
Peace, man. Do you know for our brothers and sisters that are married, man, you are ultimately should be the peace for your partner.
Bring it out.
That's right. Teach.
Let's say your husband, bro, been out all day, fighting and battling the world, dealing with all kind of craziness, dealing with all kind of gross and disgusted conversations,
Bring it out.
not of the Spirit. And then come home and have to have a whole nother battle in his own home. It's not peace.
Bring it out.
That's not peace. Or vice versa. The brute out taking care of business, providing for his family, but then come home and become a tyrant.
Uh-oh.
All because of one thing sis couldn't get to. She dealing with the children. She dealing with the household. She dealing with all of the other micro things, trying to handle that so you don't have to worry about that while you out here battling. But you don't see that side. You see a piece of paper sitting on the floor, but she done swept and mop every other room. But now you're trying to jump down her throat.
See.
Calling her lazy and this, that, and the third. But it's not peace.
Bring it out.
That's not the way of the Spirit.
Right.
Read on, bro.
Long suffering.
What do you say, bro?
Long suffering.
Read.
Gentleness.
What do you say, bro?
Gentleness.
Man, again, man, that's one thing I had to learn, man. This is one thing I had to pick up from the Lord, bro, because being new to the marriage scene at that time, man, really wasn't as gentle as I should have been. But with the Lord, bro, there's evolution of the spirit, there's evolution of the mind, man, there's evolution of the body. You become that peace for your partner, man. You become gentle. Because my wife can tell you, it's real hard.
Bring it out.
But again, man, being able to reflect and give your side of the perspective on things, man, that helps the next brother, that helps the next sister be able to navigate the same pathways. You're giving them a leg up where ultimately it was a disadvantage. Now you've given them an advantage. Knowledge is always an advantage when somebody has already been through it. Read.
Goodness. Faith. Meekness. Temperance. Against such there is no law.
See, against these things, there is no law that keeps you from being like Christ.
Bring it out.
Read.
And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lusts.
It said they that are of Christ, bro, have done away with those things. They have taken accountability for their actions. They have taken accountability for those wrongdoings, and knowing that I'm not supposed to go back to these things. They're not falling privy to that temptation. They're not falling privy to that idolatry that's seeking to destroy them. They taking their cross and they bearing it. They're building off of that foundation. They're putting spackle on the cracks in the walls to make the walls stronger. They're creating a space for themselves where they can succeed and not regress. Read.
Have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
It's telling us right there.
That's right.
If we are going to be of Christ, let us walk of Christ.
That's right.
These are the same characteristics. These are the same things that Christ did. This is the same way that Christ spoke. This is the same way that Christ moved. This is the example that we should be following. Corinthians, let's go back. 1 Corinthians 10 and 17. Read it when you get there, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 17. For we, being many, are one bread and one body. For we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel, after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices, partakers of the altar.
It's telling us of those that fall deep into those temptations, that fall deep into those lusts of the eyes and the lust of the flesh, that fall deep into those idolatries. Are these not the things that we're following? Are these not the things that we're consuming? Are these not the things that's taking our time? Are these not the things that we're putting forth our energy to? Read.
What say I then? That the idol is anything? Or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
They sacrifice to that confusion. They sacrifice to that death. They sacrifice to that sadness. They sacrifice to those sorrows. They're creating the sickness. They're creating the sadness. They're creating the things that are ultimately destroying themselves.
Bring it out.
Read.
And not to God.
And not to who?
Not to God.
Read.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
It's telling us to separate from these things, to not be partakers of these things, to leave the darkness in the dark, to take hold of the light and let your light so shine. Read.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
It's telling you, bro, it don't work that way. You cannot continue to fall into your temptations or to seek out and dive in and put all your time into these idols, into these gods you erect for yourself.
Bring it out.
Call yourself a follower of Christ. It don't work that way. You cannot look at your brother with the turned lip. You cannot look at your sister with the turned lip and the evil eye and say that you follow Christ. It don't work that way. Read.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
It don't work that way. Read.
That's right.
Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
It's telling us, man, bro, this is where our power lies. We continue to create these situations and this confusion for ourselves and be mad when we get licked on the chin. Get mad when our plans don't fall through the way that we want them to. We get mad when we get come past, bro, by random afflictions and atrocities, bro. Strange calamities happen. And we sitting there with our hands on our head trying to figure out what's going on. And it's you.
Bring it out.
It's your spirit. It's how you've been carrying yourself. It's how you've been speaking. It's how you've been dealing. It's how you've been operating. It's the things that you have not been doing towards the Lord.
Bring it out.
Letting that old man and that old woman resurface and take over. We coming to a close, Israel. Give me Ephesians 6 and 10. Let's talk about this covering, man. Let's see what this covering is. Read that, bro.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 10.
Read.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
It's telling us, man, lean on the Lord. Be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Read.
Put on the whole armor of God.
It's telling us to put on that covering for us to be covered up from head to toe. Read.
That's right.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
That you may be able to stand against that temptation. That you may be able to separate yourself from the idol worship and the worship of the Lord. That you may be able to put yourself in a calm state of mind to be able to realize when you are trying to be your own worst enemy. Being able to pick up on those slight things that you yourself in your mind get to talking about to realize, wait a minute, I'm slipping. Starting to pull from the Lord. This ain't how I'm supposed to move. Checks and balances for yourself. Read.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world.
Read.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against all of the things that are put out there to keep us from the Lord. That are all traps and snares that are put out there to keep us from moving like Christ. Read.
Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God.
Put on this covering. Read.
That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day.
Read.
And having done all to stand.
Read.
Stand therefore.
What it say, bro?
Stand therefore.
Read.
Having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Read.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith.
What it say, bro?
Taking the shield of faith.
Read.
Wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Bro, it's telling you, man, to walk in the spirit.
That's right.
It's telling you to move like Christ. It's telling you to have the same characteristics as the Lord, man. When you put these things on, when you operate in this mind state, when you carry yourself like this, bro, you're protected. This is that covering. Up here.
Bring it out.
It starts here. So I pose that question, man. Where is your mind at? Is your allegiance to the light or is your allegiance to the dark? Read.
And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Which is what?
The word of God.
Read.
Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
It's telling you, man, to be vigilant, to keep your eyes up. The biggest enemy that you're going to have to overcome is yourself.
Bring it out.
Your own mind. You have the most influence over yourself. You can talk yourself in and out of the things that are good and bad. With Christ, you are going to come up on the positive side every time.
Bring it out.
He told you, you will not be put in a situation that you cannot escape from. As long as you have this covering over you, as long as you're operating with the same mindset, as long as you're speaking with the same tongue, as long as you're carrying yourself with these same actions, you are protected. You are covered. There is no way, there is no reason for you to fall back into the darkness. There's no reason for you to fall back into sadness. There is no reason for that old man to win that battle against the new.
Teach.
Because the new man has the advantage of not having the weaknesses of the old.
That's right.
Let me say that again. Think about that. The new creature does not have the same weaknesses as that old man because the new creature knows how to battle the old. You come into the game, bro, with the cheat code. You come into the game with the blueprint on how to move. You've already walked that path, so you know it's all right waiting around the corner to get you. It's time for us to become that new creature, man. Let that temptation and idolatry be where it's at. Because it has no room, it has no home in you. And how you speak, and how you move, and how you operate. Take on that covering of Christ, man. Take on that whole armor of the Lord. And on that, we say shalom.
Shalom.